Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is No Dust here, and we're going to continue our No Epic, Legendary, or Adventure card Rogue Ladder Climb. Alright, so as promised last time, we have some packs. One pack, to be more precise. So let's open our one pack and see if we can get an SI7 agent. I've been waiting on an SI7 for so long. Not so much stuff. This is really nice though, because I remember we already have one copy of Lightning Storm. This really pushes me in the direction of going for a budget shaman, and I really think a budget shaman can be done. Shaman has so many powerful common cards, but we will talk about it. Let me just note that down so I don't forget. Shaman run. And I'd like to hear your feedback, you guys' feedback. Should I do a budget shaman run in the next series? You know, I'm not married to this rogue run. I mean, I'd like to get it to rank 5 eventually, but you know, variety is the spice of life. So I wouldn't rule out season 3 being a budget shaman run, and I think I'd really enjoy that. So I think that might be what the plan is for now, but we will see what happens. Obviously, life throws things in our direction. So here we go. We have 2 Lightning Storm. That's going to be really, really useful in the Shaman list. And even fine, not so good. Fen Creeper is actually pretty fine as well for Shaman. Yeah, so I like that idea. Okay. So let us queue up whilst my computer is doing its shenanigans and see how we go. Okay, Rogue Mirror Match. I'm keeping Auto Barber, the others I will throw back. Rogue Mirror Match is actually one of those that require those that really tests both players' experience and knowledge with the class. And this is a legend back rogue, so I would not expect anything less than the best rogue deck. Possibly things. I don't have a 3-drop play, so I'm just going to weapon up. Possibly things like Death Rattle Raptor. But just because a player has a legend card back doesn't mean they went to legend using that class. Particularly if you're not seeing a golden border. It's probably more likely that this player went to legend using some other class, because, you know, just climbing to legend, you probably have to play like 200, 300 games a month just to get to legend. And I wouldn't know for sure. I wonder actually. Let me put that in the notes. How many games on average does it take to climb to legend? And that'd be an interesting thought experiment on, you know, if you want the legend card back, as we can see here, my opponent is sporting a legend card back. How much work do you need to do? For me personally, ooh, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. I think that I will kill it with my Eviscerate. I don't really have any other answers to that. Yeah, I don't swing. I don't need to swing. So the first play you had was Shredder. What else did you have? You just weaponed up and then coin Shredder. Some sort of control rogue? I don't know. Oil. You have oil in your deck with South Sea deck, and you have oil in your deck. Earthen Ring. Okay, you just played Earthen Ring for tempo. Okay. Oh, this works. I'm overkilling it by 1, but that's fine. You know, that's fine. And I get to develop my own Shredder, do a ton of work. I think if the ooze was incoming, I would have already been oozed. So let's see how we go. Drake is fine. I have a 4-attack weapon. That is excellent for me. Yep.
Here we go.
And is it worth? This one, I think this one is better. I'm not in desperate need of the health. Healbot really is there for you when you're desperately in need of health. Say you're on a turn, you're on turn 5 and the hunter's gotten you down to 10 health. Healbot will do a lot there because it changes the hunter's line of play. Because the Healbot, not only does it represent like a minor threat, a fairly strong, you know, you can't ignore it. A hunter ignoring it means like I get 3 damage in every turn. Ooh, that's quite nice. That's quite nice. Ooh, that's a little expensive, my friend. Do I sprint? No, sprint is better later. I think I just present this as a target for my opponent's weapon up. I know it's not great. I probably could have just done Healbot weapon up, but I want to present this as a target, forcing the weapon up and reducing your total available mana to 5. I don't know if that's correct. I feel as if that's correct. I'm just sort of playing by instinct here, and a lot of the times I just do play by instinct. Although, you know, getting up early in the morning, as it is here, and playing, I should probably rely less on instinct and more on logic. Probably more correct to hold the Buccaneer back to get value from it later, since my hand is small. But having said that, I do have Sprint in hand. You know, so every play is... You can make an argument for any number of plays. There's no quote-unquote correct play, unless it's a fairly simple situation. Yeah. So let's see how we go. Okay, as we wait for my opponent to make some moves. Yeah, so how many games does it take to reach Legend? I wonder... You're going to go for a full board clear? Okay, interesting. Interesting. Okay. I think I have to sprint here. Job's done. I'm a little far, yeah. Ooh, that's really nice though. Picking up the Kraken from the sprint means I can deal with the SI7 next turn. There may be some sort of oil shenanigans, and that's even better, because if you do oil shenanigans, I can one shot whatever gets oil shenaniganed. Okay, that's fine. You're gonna whip it up again. There could be a sap in here, but sapping a Kraken isn't great because it just gives me another 4 damage battle cry. So yep, I will Kraken, get a freebie on the 5-drop Azure Drake. Looking for the sap or looking for the assassinate. Sap is more tempo, so you could sap oil, but sap oil just puts that back in my hand, allows me to kill it with the battle cry next turn. So that's not necessarily the strongest line of play. Oh, you're going to do full clear. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Because I do have an assassinate for that. Okay, why did you... What? You should have just... Ah, I understand now. I understand. Sunwalker works. Sunwalker works. It'll absorb the charge. Yeah, Sunwalker works. And I will hold the heal for now. And I do have oil in hand, so I should hold it. This will absorb about 10 damage. Unless you have fan in hand or something like that, it'll absorb about 10 damage. It should save me from dying. And if it doesn't, them's the breaks. Sunwalker is very vulnerable to sap. And the BGH already came out, so I don't know. Let's see how it goes. Anyway, as we wait for our opponent who likes to take their time, and that's fair enough. Am I still dead? Yesterday, the Final Fantasy VII Remake trailer dropped. I think for PS4. Was it the PS4? The latest PS, whatever the hell it is. Yeah, well played. Yeah, the turning point was that BGH on the Kraken. Not much you can do about that, you know. I play Kraken and you get to be BGH. What else am I going to do? Let's queue up again. Okay, none of these. So as I was saying, yesterday the Final Fantasy VII trailer dropped. I'll put a link in the show notes. And basically they're remaking Final Fantasy VII. And I really encourage you guys to watch it. It's just a trailer. I don't think there's any spoilers if you've played the game before. And I've definitely from the generation that played the original when it came out on PlayStation. You know, they had a PC port and so on and so forth. You can still buy it actually on Steam. Let me put a link to Steam store page. And you know, if you want to pick up the original game, I really like the original game. It had a lot of charm. It had a lot of what are you doing?
Here we go.
Had a lot of character. But the problem is, the recent Final Fantasies, I played 13 and I played a bit of 13 too. The thing with FF13 onwards, I feel, because I stopped playing after 13 because it was such a, in my opinion, I'm not saying, you know, if you enjoyed it, that's fair enough for you. 13 was just, like one of the, I'll put a link to Angry Joe did a really good video. It was just like a little snippet on how it's. I think he called it Final Corridor 13, and that's really how that FF13 felt as a game. It was just like you just keep running down corridors. You don't do anything. There's no like open worldness to it. You just sort of follow one path. You fight the enemies, and like, you know, the battle system was nice. I liked the FF13 battle system, but a game can't be built on its combat system. It needs to, especially an RPG game. it needs to sort of be built on its characters and its story, and maybe I've just outgrown it. But from what I remember, FF7 had so much character, had so much, you know, had so many interesting things going on with it. But 13 was just like, you know, the characters were bland, like, I don't know, they just weren't interesting for me. And the storyline was like convoluted. What the hell is some sort of laissez-faire nonsense? What are you talking about? And it's just, and it was just confusing to me. And
Here we
I'll swing.
go.
It was just confusing to me. I didn't really. I don't think I even finished the game. I got to like the end. I got to like there's this area where you like the game finally opens up after like 25 hours. And caveat here, I'm just recounting this from experience. You know, I haven't reviewed the game. There are people who have reviewed the game. Please watch their reviews for a more comprehensive talk about the game. but like, man, the game didn't open up until it was like the 25th hour, and that's not a Final Fantasy game. The FF7 felt open from the start, and I know, like, you know, you can walk around town, you can do all these cool things, you can talk to randoms, yeah, from the first town, and then it opened up even more. So FF7 started off as like a fairly open experience. You're in, I forget the name of the town. People will lambast me for this, but whatever. But like 13, you have to wait 25 hours to get to any sort of open world content. That's not really what I signed up for. And some people will have signed up for other, you know, some people are more forgiving and like, you know, this is where the Final Fantasy franchise has gone. You know, this is the direction of the Final Fantasy franchise. And I can understand if that's the direction, but then, you know what? Don't call it Final Fantasy. If the old Final Fantasies were, you know, I played a bit of 3, I played a bit of 3/6, the one before 7, and I really enjoyed it. But don't call it Final Fantasy. If you're gonna do those shenanigans, just don't call it Final Fantasy, man. Okay, I want to clear these little annoyances. Yeah, those are good bombs. Yeah, here we go. Very easy clear. Yeah, don't call it Final Fantasy, man. Like, call it something else. Corridor Fantasy? I don't know. Lightning Fantasy? Snow Fantasy? Fal'Cie Fantasy? Lassie nonsense? Convoluted storyline fantasy? I have no idea. I don't care what you call it, as long as you don't call it Final Fantasy, because it's not the same game. I mean, yeah, make it a spin-off. You know, make it a spin-off. Call it like, I don't know, but the branding, I think what I'm actually trying to get at here is the branding of the series is problematic, because you've called it something and sort of tapped into feelings about something that the game doesn't actually represent. That the game doesn't represent those feelings. The game is actually more about XYZ, whereas the previous game was more about ABC. I don't know, it's just problematic. I think we can just do this. And apologies for me just sort of zoning out and talking about Final Fantasy, because it's quite an important thing for me. I probably shouldn't be playing. I probably should be doing a rant video, but I don't care enough about it, because, you know, I'm not going to buy the game. I'm going to watch the I'm not one of those people who pre-orders and, you know, I need to buy this game. And I'll just queue up and I'll just keep talking. I'm not one of those people who will pre-order the game. I'm much more like in the stage of life I am in now. I'm much more of a wait and see. What does it have to offer? What do the people I respect online have to say about it? And, you know, it's also FF7's also, the remake is going to be episodic. Now, I don't even know what that means, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions. There are people who are jumping to conclusions about, you know, they're just trying to get as much money as possible and cheat people out. You know, that's not necessarily true. I don't think I mean, obviously, that's what it looks like from the outside. But until they actually release pricing and so on and so forth, I don't think we should get angry about that until they release pricing. Because, like, we don't know all the information. We don't know how much is in each content pack. This isn't important enough to... No, I saved my backstab for something else. Yeah, we don't know how much is in the comp. Let me just put a note. Being episodic, and I'll put a link in the show notes again for FF7 being episodic. Let you guys see, read for yourself. You know, don't just take my word for it. Have a look for yourself. See what you think. You're gonna be aggressive. You're gonna be aggressive. You're gonna be aggressive. No, you're not. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. This is important to clear. I think I backstab here. No. You know, the whole point of this is to freeze my face, but I froze my face already, and I already got, like, you know, I can sit with the one dagger charge until I think it's the turn after next. Anyway, yeah. So I put a link in the show notes for FF7 being episodic. What else is there? Yeah. So watch the trailer. The trailer very much feels like Final Fantasy 13 reskinned with Final Fantasy 7 assets. And that's not cool. That's just, I don't know, man. It's just, like, I feel like, you know, I sort of know how people feel when Snyder dropped that Batman v Superman second trailer. It's like, come on, man. I feel so close to this franchise or character, and what are you doing? Like, you know, call it something else, sure, but why do you have to call it, you know, Batman? Why do you have to call it Batman? He's holding a gun, or you have to call it Superman? He snaps people's necks. Like, I really agree with them there. That if you're trying to come up with a new concept, that you should probably just name it something else. And, you know, inspired by Batman, inspired by Superman. Obviously, you're not going to get as much. So remakes versus. So this at this point, I'm just ranting now. Sorry. Remakes versus new IP. IP standing for intellectual property. So, you know, remakes. So Batman v Superman is a remake because we had the Nolan Superman. I mean, we had the Nolan Batman previously. Okay, I think that I actually run this out because this challenges most things. Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice, actually. I can clear the Cogmaster. That reduces a lot of the damage, actually. And we're looking pretty good here. These two things are likely, at least one of them is likely to whiff. Yeah, remakes versus new IP. I mean, obviously, I see why you would make it a remake. You'd take, like, how I see the process, the creative process going in Hollywood is like, hey, I've got a new idea for this comic book or a movie, and you know, I have my own vision of it, but it gets to the studio, and the studio's like, nah, man, you gotta put it under, like, it's close, it's sort of close to Batman. Let's put it under the Batman wing. You know, let's label it as Batman, or it's sort of close to Superman. Let's label it as Superman, and then, you know, and then market it. It's just, I don't know. Let's just. You can probably hear my frustration. Okay, let's push out with this. You can hear my frustration. I mean, like, there's very good reasons because it's more recognizable, and if you actually make the story actually suit the Superman franchise, like, if you make the story suit, then sure, you know, like, why the hell not? Do I play more defensively? No, I don't.
My shield for Argon.
It's fine.
My shield for Argon.
It's fine. That's actually perfect. Actually, that's actually a perfect outcome. The Argus gained a ton of value on my board, but he only got a 2/3. Yeah, so in the context of Batman v Superman, if you can make the story, if you can tweak the story enough so that it feels like a Superman story, that people who are fans of the Superman series go, okay, well, you know, this is a different Superman, but I can still recognize him from all the comics and stuff that I read, and you know, it's an interesting story, then I think that's cool. That's cool. Like, you know, all power to you. But if you make it, like, unrecognizable, and people are like, this is not Superman, this is like some sort of nonsense. You whiffed your secrets, didn't you? Where have your secrets gone, my friend? Come on, come on. I love seeing mad scientists whiff. Oh, you don't want it to whiff? Well, let me whiff it for you. And let me assassinate this. And we can take one fireball. I really need to sprint into...
Here we go.
so I'm not going to be playing the oil next turn. I need to sprint into Earthen Ring. There's one fireball in hand. I could very easily be dead. I mean, you know, I probably should be paying more attention to climbing the ladder, but me ranting about IPs and remakes versus, you know, keeping the original. Yeah, so you whiffed that secret because you had the secret in hand already. How fitting. And that's a fireball. That's a fireball. You may need to fireball my board. No, you're fireballing face. Okay. Okay. Sure. This could be a counter spell. I don't think so. I don't think... If it is, like, you know, well played to you. No Earthen Ring. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Into the breach.
Yeah, I'll run this in. What is that? I wonder.
Join or die. Here we go.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine. You're not getting through. At least I hope not. I should have tested for that, actually. It would have been much better for me to clear that thing off the board. Anyway, yeah, I think that's enough ranting about remakes versus new IP. IP, I don't explain it. I don't think I explained what IP is, and I'll put a link to Wikipedia for those who are interested. IP stands for intellectual property, and it sort of means that, you know, if I come up with an idea, and this is sort of, you know, I came up with the budget rogue laddering idea, and, you know, this has probably been done before. It's not new. But the way that I do it with the name of my account and my voice and, you know, how often I release it, I think that I have some sort of ownership as to how I do the series, and that's sort of what you call intellectual property, you know. And sometimes big things are also intellectual property. Like say for example, Superman belongs to DC Comics, and Fantastic Four used to belong to Marvel. Now they belong to Fox, and then I think it's Fox. I don't know. 20th Century, whatever. Fantastic Four, the IP of Fantastic Four was passed on by Marvel. They had to sell it because Marvel was apparently going into receivership or just, you know, running out of money, and they had to sell off all of their properties to stay afloat. And now that's sort of why we have these terrible Fan 4-stick remakes. And I'll put a link in the show notes to Chris Stuckman on Fan 4-stick. It's like a pretty bad. I didn't watch the movie because, like, why would I watch a movie that people that reviewers, like, and he's not spoiling anything, but he's like, this is not a great movie. So why would I watch that, you know? It makes no sense. This is actually better. I was thinking Deadly Flurry, but this is better. I probably could have run into the Worm Rest to force a heal on the Worm Rest. Yeah, we'll see. DragonPriest is going to be problematic. We won that game, didn't we? Did I record the win? I don't remember. I'll check back on through the stuffs later. Okay. This is a very nice board clear. Yeah, this is what I was looking for.
Here we go.
I didn't actually need to swing. Oh, that was so stupid. I didn't need to swing. That was a misplay. Let me note that down. When you're playing to Blade Flurry, think about whether you need to swing first. Yeah, that was a little silly on my part. I shouldn't have swung. That was two health that I could have saved myself. I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference against Priest, luckily. But if I made that mistake against, say against against Hunter, no such luck. So this goes to 4 attack. I can't clear this. So what I actually will do... Oh, actually, I could play Bloodsail. Bloodsail is good, actually, because Bloodsail is out of range of these guys. Yep. There we go. And buffs it into 4 attack, making it very hard for the Priest to remove. So 4 attack is always good for... 4 attack is always good against Priest. Yeah, but we've fallen behind on tempo against. This sort of works though. Okay, I need to hope for some RNG. I need to hope for the oil to land on, not the Buccaneer. Okay, that's good. That's good. Yep, this works. It could very well get deathed or BGH'd, but that's okay because it's already gotten value. It already presented a shield for me for a turn, and we're still behind. But yeah, you know, death is a very, very straightforward thing to do. I have 5 attack. That's fine. So the game is turning.
Here we go.
And I won't sap here. No need to sap here. The issue is now the 2 health might make a difference because I'm using my weapon so much for board control. That 2 health that I wasted, that I just threw away, might actually make a difference. Yeah. Let's see how we go. CSP on that. Okay, that's fine. I have a Kraken to deal with the... And this thing's not going to get you any value. Yeah. No, I'm cracking. You already used 1 death. There probably is another death on the way. I want to leave that up. There's not much a priest can do with the 2-1. You could power word shield it, but there's no point. Like, what are you going to... Like, you can't... It doesn't give it any favorable trades. You could Valens. I don't think Dragon Priests run Valens. Dragon Priest cards are slow enough as it is, and Valens is really slow too. This is a prime sap target. Oh, really? Really? Okay, interesting. Oh, really? Do I fan here? Yeah, I do fan here. Okay, assassinate. No. The assassinate is my backup.
Don't worry, loves. The cavalry's here.
He drops it again next turn, I assassinate and I'll go for face.
Here
We put a lot of pressure on. I may not win, but if I pick up an eviscerate, we can win. He drops it again, assassinate, eviscerate, or something, some sort of burn. We have a bit of burn in our deck. We can do it. Yeah. Yep, there it is. You got to heal. That's okay. The only thing it'll clear is this. I think is the Valiant. I'm assuming you have a dragon in hand. The only thing it'll clear is the Valiant. I could actually backstab, hit, take 6 damage. Yeah, let's do it. I'll save the assassinate for next time.
Here we go.
I'm down to 3, but that is not 2. The issue against Priest is 2. I mean, there could be a Holy Smite and a Holy Nova. But this is more threatening. If he doesn't have Holy Smite and Holy Nova, okay, so he's looking for Holy Nova. Yeah, we're done. Well played. Yeah. Could I have won that if I just sapped the thing? Or just assassinated the thing? Probably. I think that was a misplay. Dropping down to... Let me note that down. To 3 health versus Priest. Equals still vulnerable to Drake plus Smite / Nova. Yeah, I have to really remember that. 3 health versus Dragon Priest is actually is still dangerous, and that was a tough lesson. I could have easily won that game, but dropping yourself down to 3 health versus Dragon Priest is not a good idea because there are Azure Drakes in that deck. And plus any sort of spell damage, it would just kill me. So I think that was an unnecessary risk. Play it safer on health, 4 or above best. Probably 4 or above. Like 4 is probably the tipping point, as low as you want to go. Anyway, we lost the game. That's fine. You know, this doesn't matter whether you win or lose games. People are still like, oh, why are you doing this series? I'm doing this series so that I can learn and figure out how far we can go with minimal dust, and I can learn the sorts of plays I need to make against the predominant decks in the meta. That's why I'm doing this run. Okay, and we have Druid Hunter. That's fine. We don't have any money. Don't have any gold for any packs. All right, so let's finish up. Okay, so apologies in advance apologies in retrospect, because if you watched this far, you would have heard me ranting. For all the ranting and the lack of talk about Hearthstone, but I guess I had some of that, in the basement that I needed to get out, some latent feelings about remakes versus new IPs that I needed to get out. And yeah, so look in the show notes if you want to find out more things about the FF7 remake. I'll put a link to the trailer. I'll put a link to the trailer for Fan 4 Stick and things such as, to Chris Stuckman's review of it. Okay, so thanks in advance for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. All of those good things. Before we finish up, some feedback on the BudgetShaman run. What do you guys think? Would you like to see me do BudgetShaman next series? That's sort of what I'm bouncing around in my head at the moment. Okay, so thanks in advance, and I hope you guys have a lovely day and a wonderful week. This is No Dust signing off.